Empathy. Solve the tough issues with compassion. Welcome everyone. Let's talk about empathy, the hard skill of leadership, and how do we solve those tough issues with compassion. Being empathetic has been hard one for me. I was raised in a home where you just got on with things. And I can still hear my father's voice saying to me in Afrikaans, "Moenie gaan nie, Jennifer." Translated, "Don't carry on, Jennifer." That meant be quiet, suck it up, and stop complaining. Given that training, how do you think I treated my people when they had hardships or something was happening that would impact their job? I'd ride roughshod over them. In a previous life, I ran a large sales team and drove a very tight ship, especially on results. I remember one of my team calling me. She said she wasn't able to make her appointments for the week as she'd broken her ankle. My response was, "So, have you got someone else to fill in?" Not, "How are you? Have you got the support you need? And just leave the appointments and we'll find someone else to take them." How thoughtless and uncaring was that? In that moment, I eroded our relationship. Trust was broken, and she didn't come back from that interaction with me and eventually resigned. When I shared this with my team, they said they couldn't imagine me being like that. I cried. It highlighted the journey I have been on and how far I've come. Can you think of someone that you avoid being around? My brother-in-law is that person for me. I went to Perth recently to visit with my family, and I did something I have never done before. I spent 5 days with my sister and my brother-in-law. I often say to people that my sister is an angel that lives on earth, and I don't know why she's with him. To my absolute delight, I had a wonderful time. We laughed, we cried, and talked about our lives. I dropped my judgments of him and immersed myself in their world, experiencing a completely different side of my brother-in-law and their relationship. We have both mellowed. I guess that's the gift of age. Empathy is all about, can you get inside someone else's world and see it through their eyes? When we lead, empathy is critical to drive results inside of the business. When we exercise empathy, we do solve tough issues with compassion. Today is all about understanding how empathy is a learned behaviour and it's never too late. Just know, empathy doesn't mean agreement. It means I understand and I get it. Now, what does it take to get to that position in conversations? For those of you who are new here for the first time, we will be sending you to breakout rooms. Rather than us talk at you, we believe there is a collective knowledge in talking with each other. Your first breakout question is, what does it look like when you are empathetic? Welcome back. What does it look like when we're empathetic? Empathy is not sympathy. We'll go into that fully later. Let's talk about empathy. Empathy comes from 2 words, em, which means together, and pathy or pathos, with feeling, an appeal to our emotions. Empathy means I own my feelings and I allow them to have theirs. That's really important. I own mine and they have theirs. We're not collapsed into one. In the Integrity and Values profile, we measure empathy as a leadership trait. Our definition, the extent to which you identify with and understand another's feelings, situation, motives, and behaviour, and your ability to express this understanding. If you've not completed one of our integrity and values profiles, please contact us and find out what your empathy score is. Whether you are currently leading or aspire to lead, your empathy score determines how much you will get out of people. Understand, empathy fuels connection. When we can offer support in any form they need, not what we think they need. Ever done that? I think you need this. Well, hang on. What does it take to forge that connection? What do we give up about them and about ourselves? I love this quote by Brené Brown. Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable one. Why? Because for us to connect with where they are, we connect to that place in ourselves. If you are struggling to get why they are so upset, remember a time, even if it's only vaguely similar to their experience. Recall how you felt, and bang, you'll be there with them. Being empathetic as a vulnerable choice means it will remind us of our inadequacies. And we don't want to go there. We don't want to do that one, do we? Oh, no. Let's not talk about that. It requires that we as leaders give up being concerned for ourselves and get over there. Let me repeat myself. That does not mean agreement. It simply means I hear you and I get it, and this is tough. There is no requirement to fix anything or do anything except simply be there. As leaders, we are great fixers. That's one of the reasons we are where we are right now. That is not what is required when people are stuck or upset. There are 4 attributes for empathy according to Teresa Wiseman, who was a nurse educator. Brilliant woman. She says, perspective, see the world as others see it. Listen without judgment. If you can see through their eyes, then it is the pathway to losing your judgment. When people say, I listen more than I talk, that is not the kind of listening that is required. This is listening to understand and appreciate where they are at this time. This allows us to recognize their emotions. You will then understand and connect to where they are. This is where you can communicate your understanding. In this moment, they feel gotten, that you heard and understood. There is a language of empathy, and when we speak this way to people, they feel truly heard. These are some of the empathetic phrases that work. When we say something like, I don't even know what to say right now. When we say that, they get gotten. I know what it's like in this place. Or something like, I've been there and you're not alone. I'm here. Thank you for telling me. People want to experience being heard, seen, and valued. The less words you use, the better. If your people do not experience this, they will not give their best and will not give you the results that you want. By the way, there is nothing soft about empathy. When we are empathetic, we have the capacity to postpone our own feelings and stay present with them. It takes your courage, your loving heart, to go in compassionately and be there without fixing anything. When you're empathetic, you fuel that connection. You offer support in any form they need. Then, when it's your turn, it's reciprocated. Not just from them, it could come from anyone. Let's talk about what it's not. Our next question, what does it look like when we are sympathetic? Off you go. Go and have a conversation about that. Welcome back. What does it look like when we're sympathetic? The definition of sympathy is feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. The inane words that come out of our mouths are something like this: I feel really sorry for you, instead of saying something like, I'm really sorry that happened to you. You must be going through a terrible time. Sympathy drives disconnection. How does that look? We tell ourselves things like, I can't deal with their feelings right now. As a leader, you better learn to listen and deal with people's feelings. In that moment, it becomes about you. You're afraid that you'll join them in their feelings and lose yourself because you bring your upset and feelings into the conversation. And often we don't even realize that that is what we're doing. Sympathy is all about you and not about them. Being a sympathizer is a behavior of the codependent. If you want to know more about codependency, read Melody Beattie's book, Codependent No More. Being a sympathizer, we look for the victim to rescue. In fact, we can pick a victim from a mile away. Then the rescue artist in us can rise and be the hero with words like, I will help you. Then the sympathizer gets to feel superior rather than listening and supporting the person to work through their own thoughts and feelings and come to their own decisions. All of this keeps them feeling helpless, which makes us feel good and them feel worse. That's huge. We feel good, they feel worse. Of course, there are times when people just need you to do something. Don't go there right now. All that will do is stop you looking at how you do this. All of that is justification for your behavior. We keep them in their upset. Then we can come along and be the hero, the white knight in shining armor, and show them how to fix their lives and make them all better. We join them and collapse into their life experience. So we do not need to look at ourselves, and now we are both lost. We've been taught to behave this way. I recall my mother saying to me, "Be nice, Jennifer." And all nice got me was a bunch of other people's problems which I became resentful about. Give me a wave. Come on, everyone. Who can relate to that? Yeah? You are resentful because you're doing everyone else's thing. So, which of these sympathy drivers do you use? You're the fixer, the helper, the withdrawer. Then you blame and you shame, then you dismiss, then you judge, then you're the joiner, then you're the pitier, then you're the saviour. My goodness, we are so confused. I have a girlfriend called Gayleen, and recently in Perth again, I had lunch, a long lunch with her, and we talked about it, and I said to her, I'm preparing this talk, and she said, "Oh, Jennifer, you've got your new project," because she used to say to me whenever I had someone's problem that I was solving, "You've just got a new project, Jennifer, that you're fixing and you're judging that they're inadequate." That's cringeworthy, hey? Write down which one of these do you do. Now get a little bit uncomfortable. We do not grow people when we are like this. They do not need fixing. They are not broken. There is a language of sympathy that when you recognize it, you're going down this road, it is a trigger to be quiet. In other words, shut up right now. Stop talking. Looking at the slide, let's talk about these different forms of sympathetic language, starting with platitudes. Platitudes, which infers judgment and disconnects you. It is a remark or statement, especially one of a moral content, that has been used way too often to be interesting or thoughtful anymore. Are you ready for the cringe factor? Which one of these have you used? Come on, nod your heads. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. You can't please everyone. Ignorance is bliss, except my experience is it's been very expensive and heartbreaking. It could always be worse. Well, of course. You can be anything you want to be. My goodness, what a lot of nonsense that is. You can't be everything. Some people are just smarter than others, faster than others, or whatever, and it doesn't matter. Patience is a virtue. Oh, really? No. Give me a bit of impatience sometimes when I'm working with teams. There is no I in team. How about that? There is me. Anything that starts with at least. 18 years ago, I had a motorbike accident, and this is what a couple of people said to me. Well, at least you're alive. Well, really? Right now, with 20 bones broken and goodness knows what, I wish I was dead. Or, I come from South Africa, as some of you know. We say things, oh, I'm sorry, and oh, shame, that's such a shame. And I go, good grief, can you be quiet? That's too bad, is the next thing that we say. Then we say something mindless because we are so uncomfortable and we don't know what to do. And we say, you want a cuppa? Sympathy makes their problem your problem. Then the judger and the fixer comes to play. So I hope you're really uncomfortable and wriggling in your seat right now. Now let's chat about how do we keep our judgment at bay and keep listening without agreement. We will send you to the next breakout room to discuss how do you keep your judgment at bay. Off you go. Welcome back. So how do you keep your judgment at bay? It is how you listen to people when they are in a dark place. It has nothing to do with you. There is nothing to solve or fix. Right now, just listen. Solving the issue can come later. Judgment brings it into being personal. Our thoughts go to something like, there's something wrong with them. Really, there must be something wrong with them. So there is an ocean between sympathy and empathy. When we are sympathetic, we are attached to the outcome. When we are empathetic, we are committed and are able to stay open. So attached equals sympathetic. Committed equals empathetic. When we are attached, we are sympathetic. We have to have something the way we want it. We get very needy and pushy and we create or find victims to fix, to fulfill our need. If they have something wrong with them, yay, we love that. Then we do not need to look at ourselves and we are both completely disempowered. On the other hand, when we're empathetic, we stay open in a conversation and flexible. We can hold people accountable without making them wrong. We deepen our relationships as we honour that they are okay and can fix their own problems. This empowers your people. Have you ever been really attached to a particular outcome? Remember the broken ankle? What was I attached to? The results. I pretended I wanted to be a really good team player. Why? I even did one of the appointments. I played the hero. I was so driven and attached to the result. To winning, I lost sight of what we were committed to. When we are attached, Anything that is not a picture of what you want becomes an absolute nuisance and obstruction. As long as we are attached, then we are no good to the other person. So, whatever doesn't look the way you think it's supposed to look, you then start to fix it or whitewash it because I can't be bothered or I can't handle your pain. Dropping your judgment means resisting the urge to change or fix someone. Let me tell you a funny story. Some of you have heard it before. Terry, my executive assistant, has a whole system of operation that makes my life easier, except it doesn't look the way I would do it. Let me paint the picture. She'd been with us 2 weeks, and I noticed when she left the office, her desk was an array of colourful post-it notes, seemingly randomly spread across her desk. I decided to tidy it up for her and started to make nice, neat piles of them. About 3/4 of the way through my interfering, I realised there may be a system here. Oops. I madly started putting them back anywhere on the desk. When she came in the next morning, I sheepishly admitted to my interference. We talked about her system, and I got to appreciate the efficiency of it. In fact, I use post-its too now. We still laugh about it today. Rather, get committed to finding out how they do it. What they want or accept their way may be different from yours. It doesn't mean it's wrong. Here's your leadership assignment. In the next 24 hours, drop the urge to change or fix someone. Then watch the magic happen. Now, let's move to our last question for the day. What effect does empathy have on results? Off you go. Welcome back. What effect does empathy have on results? How about this? Instead of you running around rescuing and making things the way you think they should be, you would be listening and honouring difference, causing team and allowing diversity. This is when you are truly caring. Remember, empathy does not mean agreement or being soft. It is the complex part of building intimate relationships with the people we work with. The word intimacy comes from 3 words: into, me, see. It takes empathy to see into someone else and relate, allowing them their experience without interference from us. As leaders, we have been greatly rewarded for our ability to fix things. It's not how you grow people, though. Things are different to people. There is nothing nice about empathy. Our acronym for NICE is nothing in me cares enough to tell you the truth. Being a powerful empathizer means you become a powerful truth sayer. When someone is worried or upset, they will often look for agreement. Being nice is our way of protecting ourselves. When we agree with the victim, who must have agreement in order for them to keep the story going, we gave them their out, and we gave ourselves an out as well, because we do not need to challenge what is happening then. When we get beyond ourselves and truly understand our people, we stop smoothing things over, and with love and compassion, we give them an alternative way of looking at things without fixing it for them. Let's talk about the 3 C's. When people are complaining or upset, we often feel irritated. Well, I'm the only one who does that. Okay? No, we all do that. The second C is concern. If we asked, what are you worried about? Or what are you concerned about? You would find out what is driving the complaint. Then, if you dive a little bit deeper and ask, so do you truly want, or what are you committed to? You'll find out that as well. And you'll find that their complaint is the fear that they have that they cannot meet an underlying commitment. So this is how it goes. Talk with them about their underlying commitment and what they can do to fulfill on that, and the complaints will stop. It's like magic. When we speak to our people this way, this is empathy in action. That spells freedom for you and your people. Then you can create team. People who love, care about each other and the results inside the business. In closing, empathy is the hard skill of leadership, and it is learned through a willingness to accept feedback, the humility to get our impact as leaders. When we lead with empathy, we build amazing teams, people who are committed and support the purpose and values of the business, who easily get into each other's worlds and can say so when they don't.